Cut to the Chase podcast, guys. Welcome back for another episode. I am your host, Mr. Chase Abel. I feel like at this point, 41 episodes in, that I don't need to remind you who I am. I was thinking about that the other day, and I said to myself, why am I reminding people who I am when the name of the podcast is Who I Am? It's kind of like that old school way of commentating. You know, I feel like a lot of podcasters lean into the beginning of their podcast by saying, yes, this is Chris Hemsworth, brought to you by ESPN. I am Chris. It's like, we know who you are. Like, I don't need... Now, if you guys want me to continue to say, oh, this is Chase Abel, your host, then I'll continue to do it. Based on the amount of messages that I get in my on my Instagram about this podcast, which is absolutely nobody. No one ever messages me about the podcast usually, or the name. So maybe I'm just throwing this out there just for you guys to understand that I will not reiterate my name going forward. If you guys can't tell by my name who it is by now, then I don't know. I don't know what to tell you. But please subscribe to the podcast, like and share. We are all over podcast platforms. Last episode, listen, I do have to kind of apologize. I came in hot a little bit on the last podcast. Rightfully so in my opinion. I'm starting to hate corporations. And I don't hate them for the sole fact of just to hate them. I'm not one of these people like, fuck corporations and blah, blah, blah. Listen, corporations are needed. They provide jobs. They provide income. But I do want to say specifically again to the corporation of Zipcar, I thought about it and I wanted to readdress basically what I said about your company on the last episode. And what I want to say to Zipcar from my mouth to you guys are still pieces of shits. I haven't changed my opinion about that. I just wanted to reiterate it so you guys understand. The reason why I'm reiterating the fact that you guys are pieces of shits is because you guys still have been texting me to mail you the keys that I have held hostage for the car. Now, you guys made me go and spend $6.19 to go put the keys in an envelope and to mail it to your Zipcar headquarters location. And then you still wanted me to text you the tracking number of the keys that I mailed. So what I did was just basically put the keys in an envelope, went to the post office, sent it regular mail. Okay. I paid $6.19. Registered return receipt, by the way. Okay. I went with the cheapest way to get a tracking. I'm not going private for you fuckers. No. So basically after I spent $16.19, I got a receipt and the tracking number. I emailed Zipcar customer service to mail me a check for $6.19. Now, granted, I owe you $175 for late charges and possibly car theft. Grand Theft Auto. But listen, we can litigate later on about that. But I don't know. Zipcar, I'm kind of done with you. I'm Toro. I'm reaching out to Toro. I think there's another rent-a-car place. This is what it really comes down to, ladies and gentlemen. I need to put my big boy pants on and just buy a car. That's really what it comes down to. I'm a grown man. I need to get a car. So now I'm in the car business now. I'm searching for a car. I'll speak with Nicky Neighborhoods a little later. Nicky Neighborhoods has a very has a good history of car sales, being so he's Lebanese. And that's a fact, by the way. That's not an assumption. That's a fact, ladies and gentlemen. That is not an assumption. He is Lebanese, and even though he may not have direct experience with cars, he knows someone that does. And so I'll be reaching out to Nicky Neighborhoods for some car advice later on this podcast. I do want to say one more thing too on this podcast, that we will be talking about the, which we have, if we haven't talked about it earlier, I want to talk about the art of communication and lack thereof in the corporate world. Okay. If you guys work, which most of you guys do, everybody needs a job, a 9 to 5, 8 to 4, overnight, second shift. Everybody needs to have a job, and everyone, I believe, would say it's a means to an end. Most people don't like the job that they work at. Most people hate their jobs, but they know they have to do it because they have a lifestyle that they want to, keep up with or want to get, whatever the case may be. This is my thing. My thing is, I think I finally realized that the way the world works is that they have, when I say they, I mean, it could be them too, trying to be an equal opportunist here. They them have created a way that humans have to work and overwork themselves to a level of stress. Basically, what I'm trying to say is, guys, we are only working for money to buy us freedom. That's what I've come to realize. We are basically working ourselves almost to death. Almost. I say almost because it depends on, some other factors that I'm just not smart enough to bring out right now. But I just feel like everyone's working just to, get to a point just to have freedom to do what they want to do. That's really ultimately why people work, right? But I mean, I just came from work to Nicky Neighborhoods, brought to you by Nicky Neighborhood Studios, by the way. And the amount of needs that very, very wealthy people have is, how should I say this in fairness to them? Fucking disgusting. Staggering. I just don't understand why really wealthy people, just the more money you make, the more needy that you get. Isn't it supposed to be the reverse? Because if you have money, a lot of money, why would you become needy? You have the things that you have. You already have the things that you need. You would think. Wants become needs. When you have money, Nicky Neighborhoods from the echo chambers of the studios has said that wants become needs. Now, I'm going to have him kind of explain that more in detail because, first of all, I don't know what the fuck that means, number one. Two, I would agree with him because what really bothers me is this. If you have a lot of money, right, and it's all relative, but let's just say you are a millionaire, right? And if you have people that work for you and you continuously like to tell them how you like your Starbucks Frappuccino delivered, not inside your unit, but you want them to put it in the second bathroom next to your coffee table when you come home from work, I think that you deserve to get, basically, I feel like you deserve to experience bankruptcy. And then on top of that, also lose your Social Security benefits. So you can really fully understand that your requests are fucking stupid. Why do wealthy people become more stupid as they get older? as they get more money, I should say, not get older. It's remarkable to me because if I ever got a lot of money, if I ever obtained a lot of money, which will happen, as you guys can tell by my voice in this podcast, I truly would not be that person. I really would truly would be the most easiest, most workable. I wouldn't even want you to hold the door for me. I work at a place where the people wait for the people to run over to open the door for them. I see it. They walk. They just walk. They walk. They see, oh, the bellman's not there. And then they'll look over to the front desk. And then they'll look back at the door. And they will just like and then as they are wanting to get out of the front door, they just slowly encroach the door as if like a panther is just trying to get like a fucking zebra. And they're just waiting. Like, hey, are they gonna come open the door for me? Hey, wealthy fuck. How about pushing the door open and saving us both the aggro? I know I'm looking at you, Nick, but I'm looking at your face because it's there's one guy that looks like you that fucking lives there. You know.
Sell me Prince.
He's like from Orange County. And he wore Ed Hardy fucking jeans yesterday. Ugh. Just disgusted at rich people. Not even rich people. I admire rich people because there's a certain work ethic that I admire for them to get there. Now I'm talking about the ones who from the ground up. I'm not talking about those inherited money. If you are rich because you were grandfathered in to family inheritance, then I can't really give you credit. You know? And especially if you're an asshole. If you're an asshole and you inherited money, oh my God. You got to be the worst person ever. But if you're kind of a cool person, you inherited money, but you don't want people to know you have money, I can rock with you. You know, you got humbleness, but listen, I like to be a bougie bitch sometimes. You know, I like to shop at L'Oreal instead of Noxzema.
It's like the 90s. I've heard the 90s in your head.
I like to, some people may not know what L'Oreal is, but what was the other one? Let's start with it. Maybelline or CoverGirl, JCPenney. I was that fucking dude in the North Shore Mall walking around in Danvers. I don't know. Maybe I need to bring in Nicky Neighborhoods and kind of land this plane a little bit, or cruise control. I don't know. Nicky, I don't know what you think. We've talked about this before. Maybe I want to talk about this. What type of rich person would you be? Let's say if you were worth $25 million, which is a lot of money, right? Mm-hmm. If you were worth $25 million, what type of person do you think you would be to people who would work for you?
I think it's different. I think it's different. I think inherited wealth is different. Inherited wealth is that kid that is born into money and expects doors to be held for him. Yes. That's like I would say probably a lot of what you see in Boston. Going to Northeastern, going to BU, those kids that, on a casual day are just walking around with like a $4,000 outfit on.
Right.
That's what they expect. But then you see guys like men and women that have to actually work for it. And I think I get more upset because it's like the people that work for it, they deserve it more, yes. But then there's this expectation. I just think of it like first class. Like I've never flown first class. I've flown business class. And I felt like I was like, the service needs to be better because I'm paying. If the moment I fly first class, I'm going to literally be like, okay,
right.
Let's see what this is all about.
Right.
And I think people that work their whole life to get a certain amount of money and freedom expect the same thing on the other end. I almost think like the expectation sometimes is higher.
Oh, it's definitely higher. It's definitely higher. 100%.
You know?
The expectations higher. The service expectations higher. But my thing is this though. Once you get that money and then you read what's going on around you, like, why don't people just adapt to what's going around them?
They got stuff going on. They got stuff probably going on in their own life. That's the thing, is like some of this money, like people think that just by having money that you have like a normal or a better, like that improves your family life. You know, it doesn't. It sometimes it actually makes it worse. You know? Well,
I mean, I think it does. I think it definitely makes it worse depending on the type of family you have. You know, I mean, I'm about to watch this documentary. I think it's on Netflix that's coming out about the Bus family, the Laker family.
Yeah, I'm watching it.
Are you watching it?
Yep.
I think that is, I think kind of hovers around what we're talking about a little bit, like how the Mr. Bus, who owner of the Lakers, original owner of the Lakers, and I guess how he passed away, and then he was supposed to delegate, like, or whatever, who was going to take over the team, and I think it was like he has like kids or family, and there's like they're fighting for power. Who's going to take? I'm just like, dude, why do you need to fight? Like, you're still going to get like, you're still going to be part owner of the Lakers. You're still going to have season free tickets. You're still going to be able to live a great lifestyle. Why the fuck do you care if your sister owns the team? I don't care. Like, why?
Because that's their life. Their life is not like, oh, so-and-so won the lottery. Chase won $100 million. I know I'm going to get some of that because I'm Chase's kid.
Sure.
It's like, we've always been wealthy, and the only way to get my father's love is to show that I can make something successful in the realm of sports. Because that was his personality. That was Jerry Buss's personality was. And I think any wealthy dad who has multiple kids, it's immediately, okay, let's see where their stations are going to be at in life. Jeannie Buss, just referencing this, Jeannie Buss, doesn't matter if she has $100 million in her bank account or zero, is always going to work hard. She's always going to have that expectation of coming out on top because she just has that gene. Some people don't have that gene at all.
Looks good, by the way, for her age.
Yeah, she was in Playboy. Not recently. Back in like 92, I think.
It wouldn't have mattered either way for me. Like, I would have still, like, you know. She goes out with Jay Moore, by the way.
Does she?
That's what I said.
I could see that.
I don't want to.
Ugh.
I saw Jay Moore run. Like, the way he ran annoyed me. Like,
when did you see him run?
I saw him run out of the Laugh Factory when I was in LA. And the way he ran annoyed me enough where I was like, he's not good for
Is
Jeannie.
he a chest out runner?
He's more, yeah.
Like hippie?
Hippie.
But like his chest is like, I could tell.
It's very hippie.
Yeah.
Like his hip flexors like are not, like, I could tell he didn't warm his hip flexors. But he's got a great, like, a 12-yard dash.
He seems
Anything
like a
after
fun
12
hang.
I think he used to be. I think he was a big boozer back in the days. I could be wrong, but I don't know. What I'm saying is, I don't know Jay Moore. I've heard he's been around for many years. Great, good comic, great comic. I don't know. I never really seen his stuff. But I do remember specifically last summer, I saw him running out of the Laugh Factory, and I was like, I don't like him. Just the way he ran out of the Laugh Factory. Ugh. Something with me. If you are like if your body contorts in a way that annoys me, I just
Done.
don't. You're done.
Yeah.
You're different.
Yeah.
Because you don't really contort. You don't you just like. I feel like if you really practice for 2 weeks, like if you just warmed up your muscles, like you'd be fine.
Well, it's funny that you mentioned that on the last podcast that it looked like I gained weight because I've been doing a prison workout for the last 3 weeks.
Oh, this is what I want to talk about.
Yeah.
Fuck the boring shit, rich people.
But anyways, so but if you take money off the table, it's all about just, do you have a gene that pushes you forward past everyone else? And most people that have that gene, I feel like, are they have a better grasp on things. They really have a good understanding and a good reality of like what's going on around. And then you look at some of the other kids where it's like they're kind of just not, they don't get it. They'll never get it. But you know, it is what it is.
Is it though?
I think people act the way the way that they get away with the most. So if they can get away with something the most, then that's how they'll act.
That's how they'll act.
Yeah.
Right. And I think, yeah, that's a great way to point. That's a great point. That's actually well, that's really, yeah, I think I agree with you. Yeah. How much can you get away with though? That's the thing. Like
when you have money, that's the thing too, is like you can get away with a lot.
Of course. I mean, look at Mike Tyson.
That's why people get money though. See, I think that's what it is like
you get money. So basically what you're saying is people desire mainly to have a lot of money is to do the things that they want to do and not be annoyed. Right.
Like, I'll be honest. I'll give you an example for me personally. I went and I took my wife to Miami for her birthday this July. We stayed at a 5-star hotel. It was incredible. The property, beautiful property.
Okay.
The service.
Did you bring any SP40?
I'm SPFing up now. Yeah, I go 30. I go SPF 30. Also, separate sunscreen for the face.
You have to.
Not the same as the body. I don't use the body sunscreen on my face.
You know that. Well, you know, like black people, we do that. I like the way you taught me. The way you look at me as if like I didn't know that.
No, it wasn't me teaching you. It was me letting you know that's where I'm at with it.
So you just finally realized like so your skin game has to be separate from your other body game.
It has to be.
Okay.
You have the basic, maintenance, and then the face is another.
It's different.
Yeah, I almost use better products on my face.
You have to.
Yeah.
You need better quality stuff. I have I'll send you a whole list of them. I'm serious.
Yeah.
I mean, look at my skin.
Yeah.
I mean, look.
It's a little. I mean, you're not going to crack. I think I might start cracking in a couple of years. But then again, maybe we just discovered something. Maybe if we were to use some of the same, if we were to use the same regime,
yeah. Ooh.
I would benefit from that.
I think you do. I think you learn. Yeah, skincare is like, it's always interesting to me, like, because I don't consider you all the way.
There's one. It's that one toe dipped in.
It's. You're really, really like. How should I say this in respect to our friendship? You're really, really like. Annoyingly ambiguous, like it's like
if Europe was a person,
like
no,
it wasn't like Europe as a person. Short. It was more of like if I was invited to a Turkish wedding, and I had no Turkish friends, I would literally call you and be like, "Yo, do you want to go to this Turkish wedding?" Mm-hmm. And I wouldn't tell you why I'm inviting you, but it would be mainly because you look Turkish.
It would make sense when I got there.
You would make sense when you get there. Armenian.
I had a Nigerian friend, shout out to Ziki, wherever he is.
What a great fucking turn around the corner.
And he brought me to a showing of a condo. And he said to me, he was just like, it just felt like it made sense for me to bring you. We were in college, by the way. That's how well off this kid's family was. He was like,
it felt.
He's like, I'm not going to do his voice.
Sure.
But he has like a very deep kind of slow draw to his voice. And he's like, Nick, I'm going to bring you with me. And I think it makes sense for me to bring you versus some of our other friends. And I was like, I don't know if I should be offended, but I don't know if they should be offended that you think that way.
Right.
But I'm down. I'll go to the whatever it was, like the Access building over by like the bridge.
This is what I'm saying, and I'm going to say this: like black people trust you.
I work really hard.
But you give off an aura that we can trust you.
Yeah.
And I don't know if this will make sense to you, but when we look at a person like you, we're like, okay, this guy gets it. He will always speak up for, like, if we're on the train, if there's like if there's some racial shit going on,
yeah.
If we decide not to say nothing, you will step up and say something.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
and we would just be look at you and be like, yeah.
Okay, there it is.
He's you're, and the thing is, it's when I say so, I go back to like annoyingly ambiguous. Like you just it's you have something that's just like, I don't know. It's just like you wear black, all black. Mm-hmm. You tall, you know, you got some melanin, and you know you could be Cuban. You could be a lot of things.
I like to think too, like I have somewhat of a like the cultural zeitgeist of black culture, European culture, and Western American white culture. I pay extra attention. I don't pay attention so that I can be these things. I pay attention because I'm interested.
Yes.
And it's like whether it's shows or music or whatever. But I find that like I tend not to cling on to one thing particularly, and I tend not to over project.
Yes.
I'm not going to do a hip hop podcast.
I've never seen you wear a Wu-Tang t-shirt.
You never will.
And I don't think I ever will, but you know about Wu-Tang.
I will.
And I think you do. You could be doing that strategically, by the way.
There's a Luther Vandross record in this closet here.
Vinyl?
Yeah. Hold on one second.
Oh, it's this guy. This guy's getting points. Jesus Christ. Listen, I can't pay you. Like, I can't pay you for this podcast. So if you're just going to be just ramping up awesome. Oh, of course. The one with him with the over the shoulder.
The curls.
With the curls. That was those pictures were like the pictures of the 80s. Where you just look over with your hand over your chin, under your chin, and you just look, oh, that's...
So it's stuff like...
It's a good thing.
It's stuff like that. And when I say I wouldn't do a hip-hop podcast, what I mean is like, I don't cling to one thing.
No.
Culturally, that I think sometimes when you see someone doing that, you're like, I don't know if I can trust this person. Like, they're a little too into Wu-Tang. They're a little too deep down the rabbit hole.
You would have no problem. You would have no problem in our community. No. You would have absolutely no problem. If I brought you like anywhere, like you people just be like, oh yeah, like he's...
I don't code talk either.
You don't code switch at all.
Is it code talk or code switch?
Same.
I mean, because I don't know. Because I just heard, I was telling my wife about this the other day because I saw something. I don't know. I was watching something and I'm like, man, that pisses me off when people code talk or code switch. Like
yeah, black people have that. We're masters of that.
Yeah.
Because you
can tell.
Oh, you've seen me probably do it.
Yeah.
Probably a few times. I don't know.
With you. Yeah.
But like, I don't really do it to the extent where I'm like, I'm not being myself. Like, I'm not like, we have to.
But that's different though, because like, I guess I do with my mom.
You don't have to.
Grew up with a Boston accent, and I talk to my mother with a Boston accent.
Sure.
I just relax and kind of let it go. And then my normal, this is just my normal every day.
Sure.
So maybe a little bit. So maybe we're all guilty of it somehow. But like, I'm talking to the point where it's like, dude, you're changing the way that you say words. You're changing your diction, your verbal, your dialect to appeal to a certain audience.
Yes.
And that's just fucking, I don't trust that shit. That's bizarre to me.
We just,
on a large level.
Yeah.
If you're trying to sell something.
That's different. You have, if you're trying to sell something or if you're trying to whatever, but just from like a social thing, like,
Andrew Schultz. I'm calling Andrew Schultz. He does it sometimes too, where I'm just like, all right, but whatever.
But I feel like the ones who know how to navigate in different settings, like cultural settings, or just like people who are just very universal, they just tend to be more. They're more able to survive in the world. They have a. I've been told like I just because all my life I've always dealt with different types of people.
Yeah,
I've never wanted to just be affiliated with one particular group. nor was I put in a position to just only separate in a particular group. So I was, based on where I was forced to kind of just like navigate with all different types of people. And I've learned to pick up things and nuances, and I just learn,
Well, I think there's people that grow up in certain neighborhoods too, where it's like, that's how people in that neighborhood talk. And then when you grow outside of that, it's pretty much exactly what we're talking about. But
or the reverse, they don't.
They
tend to stay in that neighborhood.
Yeah.
I mean, you still got 50-year-old dudes from the Bronx or 55-year-old who still fucking talk like they're 22 years old, which, by the way, I fucking enjoy every time.
I do too.
Oh, a grown OG, like a 55-year-old who
still dresses like it's 2005.
Oh,
still.
Yep.
Same jeans. Paco jeans.
Pepe.
Either, the T-shirt is always interesting to me.
It's always the T-shirt that gives it off.
Yeah.
It's a little bigger than their body type, but it's not fitted.
No. It's almost a little too...
Saint Lunatics-ish type.
Yes. That was a deep cut. You got me there. It's very Murphy Lee-ish.
Very Murphy Lee-ish, yes.
Who's the one with the mask? He had half of he's like the Phantom of the Opera mask.
Yeah. A lot of denim shorts.
Oh, yeah. Denim shirt. I don't understand, and I've always wanted to know, this is not just with black people, but like... I'm not going to turn this into, let me ask you all my black questions. What is with people going to the beach in fabric that does not agree with the beach? Like, there's certain fabric that you just shouldn't, from a temperature, body heat standpoint, shouldn't be at the beach with.
Yeah, no 100% cotton.
No.
Should never wear 100% cotton of anything.
No.
In my opinion.
Patent leather.
Well, you're going to have to. It's going to be a little tough.
None of this is included with going to, like, Revere Beach is the only place I think you can get away with a lot of this stuff.
Revere Beach and
Hampton. I'm talking like you go to the beach. What are you wearing at the beach?
Well, to be honest with you, I'm not a big beach dude. I'm a pool guy.
Okay. First of all, right off the bat, that's why we're friends. Go ahead. Continue.
Not a big beach guy. I'm not gonna be one of these individuals where you're gonna plan a day with me to the beach. I'm not that dude. I'm not the packed cooler type.
Yeah.
With Coors Light, lemonade, and a book. Seltzers. I'm not that fucking dude.
Yeah.
Okay. I know people who pack their cars ready for. I know. Listen.
I grew up with it.
I dated women like this.
Yeah.
They have coolers ready to go to the beach at any point in time. I'm not that dude. Never. Fucking never been. Something about the sand, hot sand that gets on my toes in between.
Yeah.
Something about the heat, just like, listen, and I'm African.
Yep.
Me complaining about the heat says something.
Yeah, it's too barren going to the beach. There's no trees.
And the one thing that always bothered me, this is the reason why I don't like the beach. And I think it started when I was a kid. My mom, when we first came to this country, we used to live in Lynn, Mass. And then we moved to Salem, Mass. So during the summers, we always would take every day, right? We would go to Nahant Beach. Mm-hmm. We would walk from one end of Nahant Beach all the way to the other end, which leads you to Swampscott. Mm-hmm. Okay? So imagine being 5, 6, 7 years old and have to follow your mom and whoever and walking the whole goddamn beach, which was probably about 4 or 5 miles long, and for their exercise.
Oh, we did that. Yeah, we yes.
And I hated the beach. Ever since then, I'm like, I fucking hate the beach because because my parents instilled this ever since I was a kid. Like, I'm like, is this ever gonna end, this walk? And then I had Puerto Ricans hollering at my mom.
Okay, yeah, that's a tough look.
I stepped up to a Puerto Rican, a grown ass Puerto Rican when I was 7, because he was like, hey.
That's the thing. It's a tough look. It's not a tough look because it's a tough look. I mean,
my mom probably thought it was flattering. My mom was like, fine.
They're top 10 of all time goats of catcalling.
Oh.
I mean, they might even take the top 3 spots
Oh yeah, Puerto Ricans 100%. They have there's no
They've perfected the cat call.
perfected the cat call.
Yeah.
Yes. They go from all
Starts as a whistle and then it progresses into
maybe assault. Verbally. Hey, listen. Puerto Rican parade, just saying facts. Okay, sorry, New York. Just playing around, guys. All jokes here.
Yeah.
Based on some facts. But yes, so I hate the beach. I'm a pool guy, but yeah, going back to what you're saying. Now, I've never put on any type of ointment like sunscreen ever. Never. Up until this point, I've never put on sunscreen. Whether it's 95 degrees, 100 degrees, I never did.
Interesting.
You know why.
Yeah, I didn't want to say it.
Okay. And people still are dumbfounded by that sometimes when I tell them.
I just think, well, in Boston,
does it make sense though when I say that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
All right.
Yeah. Okay. I mean, I don't know if I can say it, but it's just like, yeah, you're more accustomed to a certain exposure to the sun, exposure to heat, exposure to the sun, based on where you and your family are from.
Love it.
You go to...
It's the reason why I hang out with you.
Boston is a city, though. You have to understand, too, because it's so shocking to the people in Boston. A, because they're on the complete end of the color spectrum. And B, it's a city where they, even in the public gardens, have SPF stations where you can go and put on in public and get free sunscreen.
Do you think it's a luxury? Do you think it's a privilege?
Have that?
Well, privilege or luxury, I don't know if it's the same, but to have melanin where you don't have to worry about getting burnt.
I mean, I think if we pull back the scope a little bit,
sure. I
think a lot of people with that skin complexion would trade that for some of the other things that have come with
fair enough
having that color skin.
Fair enough.
So
fair enough. Great point.
I won't get too soundboardy, but no. I think that needed applause. So I think, my question is this. Like, here's my kind of hard and fast with the beach and the pool.
Sure.
Okay. You go to the beach at the end of the day. Do we love going to the beach as adults? No. If you're a normal fucking person who's not a booze bag or a frat bro, every once in a while I'd be lying. I said if I didn't like to just walk on the beach.
There's some people that just grow up beach life.
I did, but
West
that's
Coast,
what I'm saying is
surfers, hippie people who like that stuff.
Well, those beaches are very different. That's a different type of beach than you got going to a Gunkwit, Maine. I mean, I grew up with going in with a wetsuit on in the water for 3 hours straight. Loving the beach, doing the whole beach thing. As I started to get older, I was like, this fucking sucks. We got to get all this shit. Go to the beach, the water's cold, and then I turned into a pool guy. But the whole time, I would see certain people like when they would dress and like what they would wear, and I just jorts, basketball shoes, oversized shorts, anything of the sort. I'm just like, that can't be comfortable.
Are you describing like Freaknik at all?
Basically, like when I saw Mystical once at a beach.
There you go. For a second, I
thought...
Not
the best person to bring up right now, but...
Yeah, well, Mystical's going through some things, apparently.
Yeah. He didn't watch himself.
All right, let's take Mystical out. Let's use a better example. Petey Pablo.
I need you to do a thing. Just that deserves it. That deserves a
you know what? It's your studio.
Chase doesn't want to cheapen, which I agree with, the value of the content with the soundboard, but every once in a while, Petey Pablo deserves a buckshot.
You know who I want to have on this podcast?
Young Buck.
Oh. No.
No, actually, no.
I listen.
I don't think he would get it.
I just don't think. Yeah, I mean, G Unit, big G Unit fan back in the days, but I really want to interview Lil Boosie. I mean, listen, Lil Boosie is a national gem, in my opinion.
Yeah.
I mean, the guy is just simply, he just needs to be put on a mural. I mean, you're going to hear some shit.
You're going to hear things that you're not going to agree with on both sides. I think on both sides. I think he says things that make people on both sides of the aisle scratch their head.
Let me ask you a question.
Sure.
If you was to give you, gun to your head, 5 people that you can interview, who's the 5 people that you want to interview and have to sit, well, not an interview, sit in a room and have a conversation with 5 people, top of your head?
Dead or alive?
Yes.
Do they have to be
That's
alive?
fair. Yeah, sure.
Oh, JFK number 1.
JFK.
JFK number 1.
Okay.
Because I think JFK...
I think we might have asked you this
Yeah.
before, but I don't know.
Well, we talked about parties. Who do we want to party with?
Oh, that's
and
what it
you.
was.
I thought I pulled JFK out, which I thought was like really. You know, you pulled Sinatra, which
So,
they'd be at the same party, but Sinatra's would be. We wouldn't have to rehash it. Go back and listen to that episode entitled "JFK versus Sinatra."
right.
I think JFK would be a really interesting interview off the record. You know, if we could get into some of the things where it's just like this country and like what happened and all that
JFK?
other shit.
Okay.
Sorry, yeah, JFK. Charles Oakley. At a bar, though, it would have to be, or there would have to be alcohol involved.
Do you think you would have the tone structure to have a conversation with Charles Oakley?
The tough thing about this is I think with Charles Oakley and even Boosie, I think I would have to defer to you in some of these interviews. Because I'm not sure if they would necessarily like me and everything that I have to bring to the table. The nuance.
You do look like a shorter version of Matt Barnes, though.
I guess, yeah. You know what though? Because I do have '90s and early 2000s basketball knowledge. So that, all right. So JFK, Charles Oakley. I would love to interview Miss Pat.
Okay.
I'm obsessed with Miss Pat.
You like Miss Pat,
I
huh?
fucking love Miss Pat.
Comedian.
Just as a person.
I worked with her before.
You've told me that. Yeah.
I told you the story what she did.
And you confirmed what I thought to be true, which is she is her authentic self every second of the day.
Every time.
And then I don't know. I mean, people in politics are interesting to me now. Ultra wealthy. I'd love to interview
Somebody wealthy.
I'd love to interview someone that, but maybe we don't know who they are and they're worth.
Oh well,
you know, $20 billion.
Well, you got to go to your homeland for that.
Yeah. So I would say maybe
Sharif Abdul.
you wanted to go Sharif Abdul Rahim.
I wanted to
So badly.
I wanted to
so badly.
I just wanted to so bad. At some point, we'll probably just podcast will lean into a '90s like basketball NBA podcast. Probably
We probably could.
Easy.
Anything. Yeah.
And we should probably just reach out to older '90s like NBA players who are not like on the limelight anymore, and just get them on the podcast and rekindle like their like relevance again. What do you think about that? Maybe we should do a separate podcast of that.
I'd love to get Detlef Shrimp and be like, what was it like playing with Gary Payton and Sean Kemp?
See, I wouldn't even ask him that question. First of all, I would ask him, how the fuck did you get the name Detlef?
Bingo.
And then secondly, how did you wear a mullet so successfully?
Bingo.
That's all
Love
I'm saying.
that.
That's all I'm saying.
Love that.
Yeah. Great question on your end. Better question on mine. So.
Yeah. Who's your top 5?
Michael Jordan,
That's a good one.
number 1.
Yeah,
Tom
that's a good
Brady.
one. Okay.
Muhammad Ali.
Okay. I think I might have shit the bed with Charles Oakley now that I think about it.
MC Hammer.
That could be a good one. That could be a dark one too.
MC Hammer introduced me to rap. In a very, very pop way. Okay. I wasn't allowed to listen to rap as a kid. So when I heard of MC Hammer and Vanilla Ice, basically Vanilla Ice was huge, and he was on the soundtrack of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Oh God.
So I wanted to listen to rap, but my parents they were very conservative people, so that I wasn't able to listen to rap. So what I did was I borrowed the tapes, the actual cassette tapes from my friend Raymond Harriman, who I borrowed it from him, but I never gave it back. And then he told my mom that, hey, Abel has my Vanilla Ice and MC Hammer tapes. Can he return it back? And then my mom got mad at me. She said, hey, listen, don't steal other people's music. Like, I'll buy you it. I was like, cool. Then she bought me MC Hammer and Vanilla Ice tape. And then MC Hammer was like huge for me. And then he kind of got the ball rolling with, you know, me listening to rap music and stuff like that. So I would want to interview MC Hammer. And that's 4. And I think the 5th one would be Keanu Reeves.
That's a good one. He seems nice. He seems like a cool guy.
He is someone I feel like I only want to have conversations with people I can learn from. Mm-hmm. I'm in the business of like having conversations to learn something. Mm-hmm. I don't like to waste conversations.
Yeah,
I'm one of those people. I'm one of those people. As soon as I hear bullshit, like there's some I have like kind of certain antennas that go up right away when like bullshit starts to like happen and like it just my brain stops and I can't move forward. Some people could just sit there and be like, "Yep, you're great at that."
Yeah, I am.
You're just, "Oh yeah, yep, oh yep." Okay, yeah.
I think that's a producer's job, though.
I just think you just have a patience for it.
Oh, I am more. Yeah, I am very patient with people. Yeah,
I'm patient too. Ish.
To a point. I take patience to the point where it's like, unfortunately, I'll never talk to that person. I'll sit there for an hour and a half and I'll take an ear beating.
Nah, fuck that.
But I'll never see that person again for the rest of my life.
Nah, not me anymore. I used to be that way. Can't do it. If you start going down certain rabbit holes that I can't, or things that don't make sense, I'm just like, what'd you say? Mm-hmm. No. What did you? Can you just go back and like?
Yeah.
Because I just need to know if you really are saying this, and you are you saying this because you think you're right, or you're saying this because somebody told? Like, I need to know why you're saying something stupid.
Yeah.
And then I have to be like, well, that's not right. And they're going to be like, well, what do you think? Why do you think it's not right? Because, well, I'm going to show you it's not right. And then they go into like, well, stop judging me. I'm like, I don't judge you. I judge behavior. Then we start getting into this whole fucking situation. And then I eventually get heartburn and I just delete their phone. And then I go home and I go to a fucking gas station, smoke 2 blunts, and I have 2 honey buns and I forget about it the next day. And then, you know, it goes down the whole real thing.
I want to redo my 5.
Let's go.
Larry Bird.
Oh, here we go.
Larry Bird gets fucking... Larry Bird...
I don't think you would have an interesting conversation. Larry Bird is not... I think in order to have an interesting conversation with Larry Bird, you have to really get him on... You got to get him fucked up. Either
That's
like drunk,
the thing. That's the thing.
Or... Because I don't think he gives you... He doesn't really give people a lot, but he gives you enough for you to be still interested to hear what he has to say.
You know what?
And that's magic.
You're absolutely right. Scratch Larry Bird, Tommy Heinsohn.
Dead.
Yep. I'll take Tommy Heinsohn.
I mean, he's passed away. You can't have a conversation.
No, we were just saying we could do Dead or Alive.
Oh, Dead or Alive? Really?
Yeah, you said Dead or Alive.
You would have a conversation with Tommy Heinsohn?
I would have a conversation with Tommy Heinsohn. Hear me out, because he's played with Russell. He's observed Bird. He was coaching and been on the team to observe Bird. And he's been around for early 2000s, which is when I really started getting into basketball. So he's a drunk. So he would tell me all the stories that nobody else would tell, just by being a fly on the wall and probably being part of some of them as well.
Okay.
I think he would cover all the bases for Celtics. Things that the public wouldn't know.
Okay.
Yeah.
Tommy Heinsohn.
If he didn't drink, that'd be a different story. Tommy Heinsohn, JFK, Leonardo DiCaprio. You don't get a lot of interviews from Leo.
Leo is definitely an interesting dude. I was on a film with Leo.
You were on a film with Leonardo DiCaprio. When you say on the film,
in a film,
okay,
not on, in the film with Leonardo DiCaprio. Yeah, Don't Look Up.
Is that the name of the film?
It's the name of the film.
Okay,
came out on Netflix. Leonardo DiCaprio.
Oh, with the asteroids.
Yes.
You were an extra?
I was an extra.
Okay, that's a very interesting way that you brought that up.
Okay. But I was close enough to Leonardo DiCaprio where I actually gave him a cigarette.
Oh.
I never told you the story?
No.
So, Jonah Hill, Leonardo DiCaprio, Meryl Streep, Lou Pearlman, great fucking cast.
Wow.
Right? And I was hired to be in the scene, which fucking was all day, cold as shit. We were on like this. It was in Fall River. It was on this like old school like ship,
barge,
whatever it is. And then we're doing this one scene, and then Leonardo DiCaprio smokes butts, man.
That's what I'm saying. He gets after it.
In between takes, he's smoking butts.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, I don't think you guys understand something, right? When you are an actor or comedian or whatever, any type of artist, right? And then when you eventually get to meet and work with the people you fucking grew to love as a kid.
Sure.
I don't think you understand the level of like how much it fucks with your brain if you let it, right? I'm looking at him and I'm like, and he's about 15 feet from me. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, that's Jack Dawson. Mm-hmm. That's Jack Dawson from Titanic. That's what's his name from Aviator.
Yeah.
That's what's his name from fucking
Catch Me If You Can.
Catch Me If You Can. Basketball Diaries.
Yeah. It's wild.
It's fucking wild, dude. I'm 10, 12 feet from fucking Leonardo DiCaprio. And I'm just like, is this real? Am I really doing this? Mm-hmm. Am I really like part of this thing, whatever this thing is? And it's like, in that moment, I said to myself, anything's possible. You can literally go after and do whatever you want if you just know how to, like, if you just get up and just do it, right? Mm-hmm. And then he's smoking butts, and then like it was like they took all the extras, right? Because we were only about 20 extras. It was very specific. It was actually like they hired like specific, like they were like black people. We need black people for like this like thing. Somali looking, East African looking. So it was a very specific like thing, and I had to like go for that, right? Smoking butts, and I had like cigarettes in my, like this is when I used to like want to smoke, and him and hell smoking butts, and I'm just like, all right. He's like, and he didn't have it. He's Gates. I don't have any cigarettes. I'm like, I could have just been like, I'm not gonna fucking say anything. Like maybe one of his producers have cigarettes for him. I literally was like, I got some. They're Marlboro Lights though. He's like, I don't give a fuck. Just gave it to him, and he's and I went off, because I'm not gonna be that guy that hands it to him just hanging around with him. I'm just going to give it to him. I'm going to walk away.
Yeah.
Right? And that's exactly what you do. But I just said to myself, I just gave a fucking cigarette to Leonardo DiCaprio.
The biggest actor in the world.
For many years, by the way.
Yeah. It's like him, Will Smith, Denzel Washington, Tom Cruise, and like maybe one or two others.
I mean, there's you could put Daniel Day-Lewis in there. I mean, but I mean, as far as like
Leo is just,
Leo, dude.
Yeah.
Like Leonardo DiCaprio. First of all, the name Leonardo DiCaprio. Great fucking name.
Great name.
Great stage. I think it's actually a stage name. I don't think it's his real name. Who cares, right? Yeah. I mean, I didn't even think I ever told you that, but that shit was nuts. And Meryl Streep. She's on set. I'm watching Meryl Streep. I'm like, yo, that is Meryl Streep. Is this really Jennifer Lawrence?
Yeah.
Like, I mean,
it's wild.
It's just wild. Like,
it's wild to see these people in person, to see them in a physical person. Like we saw Halle Berry when she was here doing something in the Back Bay eating at Toscano, just sitting down.
Chilling.
And you're like looking around and you're like, oh, there's a person. Oh, there's someone that kind of looks like, and then when you kind of focus in a little bit, you're like, oh my God, she's gorgeous. She is stunning. Like the most beautiful person I've ever seen in my life.
She's gorgeous.
But they just kind of blend in, and then they can access some shit that you're like, how the fuck did you pull that character out? How did you access that emotion? Or that, the tone, and like, how did you become that person? I feel that way too about Jamie Foxx. I think if I saw Jamie Foxx, I'd fucking lose my mind.
Jamie Foxx, he's fucking super talented. I met Bobby Brown. I met a lot of people.
That's cool.
But I met Bobby Brown 2002, Miami Beach, South Beach, Collins Ave, when he was with Mariah Carey. I'm sorry, Whitney Houston, and then he knew we were from Boston. He was like, "Yo, I'll take a picture of y'all from the Bean because we threw the 3 stripes for the Bean." Took a picture, moved on. Like I met a lot of famous people in my life, but like there was nothing like fucking like Leonardo DiCaprio though.
No,
like Leonardo, like there's just certain people that you're just like, oh my god, I grew up with you, watching you. I mean, not full disclosure, Nicky Neighborhoods. I cried in Titanic. I did.
It's one of those movies. It gets you.
I was 16.
It gets you. I cry at everything, but puberty. Yeah, that gets you. It gets you.
So you're gonna go Larry Bird? So you switching up?
I'm switching up. I'm going Larry Bird. I'm sorry. I'm going Tommy Heinsohn.
Okay. This
is no hold bars interview. This is.
Can I switch one of my guys?
Yeah.
We'll do a little draft. We'll do a trade. Okay, right. We'll do a trade. I want to take out MC Hammer.
Okay.
And I want to put the Honorable Louis Farrakhan.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
That's a good one. One of the most influential African American figures, leaders of all time.
Yep.
He's up there.
Yeah.
He's a top 5.
I want to meet and have conversation with people who've influenced like many people.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I also like to, I'll meet Joe at at Greek's Deli. I don't care. I have a conversation with him too.
Yeah.
That's
a good one. Okay, so I got Tommy Heinsohn, JFK, Leo. Yeah, I mean, I would love to. Jamie Foxx would be fun. Those are, I would say,
great whites.
JFK and Leo. Tommy's a little,
he's a little rough around the edge, a little rigid,
little suspect.
He did go to Holyoke University.
I don't think he's rigid. I think he drinks a lot.
Listen, he went to Holyoke.
He went to Holy Cross.
Same shit. Holyoke, Holy Cross, Holy.
I would do Jack Johnson.
The boxer?
The boxer, yeah, not the musician.
Okay.
To be in that time, beating the shit out of everyone.
Okay.
Driving a Rolls Royce, doing the whole
yeah.
That'd be fascinating.
Mm-hmm. He had sex with a lot of white women. We weren't supposed to.
I think that's, yeah.
Okay. Just want to let you know that.
Before it was fashionable.
Listen.
And then the last one, maybe Prince?
Great.
I think Prince would be...
I think you interviewing Prince would change your life.
And I think we would connect surprisingly well.
Yeah.
I think it would be odd how well we connect.
Yeah, I don't think you're one of these people that don't know how, like, you have a certain level of depth that you can tap into. You're not afraid to tap into that. Mm-hmm. And I think there's certain people that, when they talk to people, they only allow a certain level of depth to not be compromised. Mm-hmm. If that makes sense.
Yep.
Right. And I think you'd get into it. I think every person should kind of have these type of talks to themselves. Oh, if I had any opportunity, who would I like to be in a room with and have a conversation with? Mm-hmm. The Rock is another guy I would like to have a conversation with.
Yeah.
There's a lot of people. I usually tend to lean into sport figures because that's what I grew up with.
I get what you're saying. I think when you mention certain people, though, I'll go okay, there's that guy. What I mean by that is you wouldn't need to interview The Rock, I don't think, because you would have already interviewed Muhammad Ali, which is, I don't think it gets any bigger than that as a sports figure and as a social figure, as someone who transcends that. I think The Rock would be interesting, but I think think there's archetypes. It's sports, politics, entertainment.
Yeah.
And then world leadery. They're not in politics, but they are doing things.
Speaking of world leaders, Queen Elizabeth passed away.
Thoughts?
I mean, London has great tea. Their tea. I'm not really familiar. Listen, the whole kings and queens thing, I get it, and I appreciate it. I do. I actually do want to go to London and dress up like one of the red coats.
Yeah.
And is there a black red coat?
Not in London. I can't imagine during that time there was.
No.
I just can't.
There wasn't like a sellout?
I'm guessing.
Not one sellout?
I'm guessing. Because, you think of Boston as being a little segregated.
A little bit.
They got it from London. They got it from England. That which is why when I look at that shit, I'm kind of just like, I don't give a fuck. They're all inbred creepy motherfuckers who are all racist and, the older ones. Which is why I'm like, I don't get the same excitement about it.
Okay.
As other people do.
Not one red coat, black dude, red coat?
I don't think so. Okay. I can't imagine, although...
How about a dude that was like... How about like a Benson type of dude? Like a guy who was a butler that worked for them?
Yeah, I would imagine.
Okay.
I would imagine.
I really just want to know how a black dude would look dressed up as a red coat with the white hair. I just want to see it.
I think in Lexington, Massachusetts, they do a reenactment every year, and I would imagine... that they would want representation.
Right.
Even in a historical reenactment.
Sure.
that didn't have representation. That was not a thing at the time. Even reenacting that, they would want representation, which I think is good.
If you were, could you see yourself living in London?
For sure. We're going to go next year. My wife and I are going to go for, we're not doing anything for a 1-year anniversary. We'll do it for our 2nd-year anniversary. We'll go to London and do a week. Yeah.
Okay.
I'm a big fan of English speaking places from a enjoyment standpoint, from an ease standpoint, I should say. Easy to move around, easy to navigate and find things. It's clean. It's got great Middle Eastern and Indian food there, which I'm really into.
Okay.
And they also do like a cocoa patty thing there that's like a bun that they do that's like supposed to be well known, I guess. I don't know.
You talking about cocoa bread and cheese patty?
Yeah.
Mina cocoa bread and bak.
And they have that in London.
Yeah, it's called.
They have it in Brockton too, but like I'm saying, like
Brockton. Like,
I don't need to go to London for that.
Yeah, you could just
for oxtail.
You could go to Flames down the street. Like it's right there.
Shout out to Flames.
You could go to Roti on Mass Ave. Right?
Yep.
The restaurant Roti.
Yep.
Like,
but I'm excited for that. I'm excited for the hotel. Oh God, just the way that they do luxury there, the way that they do hospitality.
The one thing I appreciate about like the English, which is not much, by the way, right?
Pretty stiff.
There is a commitment to. There's a certain level of commitment to the older English culture that they like to still keep.
Yeah.
And make still relevant, right? The whole, the sound of like, the English trumpets in the morning and the
tradition.
The tradition of like English culture. I like the aesthetics of it, right? I like the castles and the there was a time where like that's how people fucking lived, dude.
Yeah.
Right? And I feel like English people always like not the regular English people, like the people who like the blue collar, the regular people. I'm talking about like the elite aristocrat, like that. I feel like they will never let that go. Like they will never let that go.
It's built for centuries, and it's going to stay that way as long as some people, can keep it that way.
Right. And do you think there's a still need for that in just today's society?
I don't think there's a need. I think it's the same as Italy. I think like, when you look at it, for example, Italy there's laws in place that you can't build new buildings because a big part of Italy is the architecture. It's the agriculture. It's the way things used to be. It's preserving that culture.
Okay.
And I think it's the same in England. I think it's the exact same emphasis on the old architecture, preserving it, keeping it nice.
I want to go to London and learn theater for a year.
That could be fun.
Yes.
That could be fun.
I want to learn theater, and I want to come back as a shorter version of Idris Elba.
Okay. Again, all of these things we could do in Brockton.
Or the Bronx.
Or there are these opportunities closer to us.
Yeah, we don't have to travel much, right?
No.
America pretty much has everything that we need to do.
Yeah.
Right? Or mimic or copy, right?
See, that's the thing is like, I think when we talk about money, just to bring things back to the opening topic, is it's a mindset of understanding culture and understanding and being traveled and seeing how you're treated in other areas, whether or not people really don't care if you have money. At the end of the day, I think we all want the same things. I think the people with the money, with people without the money, they all want to be secure. They all want their families to be secure and healthy and happy, and they just want a good meal. They want clean clothes to put on.
Yep.
They want to be, accepted by people. So I think all those core things hold true. And I just think, fucking some people just need to travel. They need to be exposed to those things.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I just think like one of these, hopefully, I don't know. I just hope that, I'm going to be honest with you, I just hope that I just want money. I'm tired of being broke.
Fuck what I just said. First of all, fuck that. Some people don't need to travel. Some people can just stay where they are and that's it.
I just want to be able to have my apartment always running on climate control at 69 degrees and don't have to shut it off to save money.
Yes.
That's how much money I want to have. I want to be able to always run my AC all day, have enough money to put gas in my car, enough food, be able to travel to certain places at any given time when I want, how I want, right? And, I don't want much money. Let me ask you a question, and we'll leave with the money part, right? I didn't want this to be a money podcast, but listen, it is what it is. If you had a certain dollar amount that you can say you can live comfortably, and this is all you can ever have per year for the rest of your life, what is that quote number?
Per year?
Like, what is the amount per year that would make you realistic?
I think a realistic amount of money
for you for all the things that you want to do.
400 to 500,000. If you're making $400,000 to $500,000,
good number
after taxes. Yeah, so you're probably making like $700,000 or $800,000. But we'll just say whatever, $400,000 to $500,000.
Unless you're Trump, they got a cemetery you can build around.
Unless you're Donald Trump or Hillary Clinton,
burying your ex-wife in your hotel, save on taxes. But sorry, that's what he did.
He did bury his ex-wife under the hotel to save on taxes.
He buried his ex-wife in one of his properties, so his tax advisor advised him that's tax exempted.
Is that true?
Yes. It just came out this week.
That's fucking insane. I gotta look that up.
Yeah.
To answer your question, that's I already calculated it. That's how much money you need to just be able to pay your mortgage on a nice house, have a nice car, do all the things that you want to do.
I like that number. That's a very good, fair number. Yeah, so we'll...
Are you looking this up?
Yeah, so basically...
what's your number?
My number's the same. I don't have a.
You do the same thing.
Yeah, my number's the same. If I could have $500,000, dude, I made $40,000 stretch per year when I used to make like $35,000, $40,000 a year. You know what I mean? I don't need much.
It's 41 G's a month, or we'll say 42. We'll round it. So you're getting 42 grand a month.
Yeah, it's fine. It's plenty enough money for me.
Yeah,
I could stretch that. Like, listen, I'm an immigrant from Africa, dude. I grew up with I can wear New Balance sneakers for the rest of my life. I could up my t-shirts from Target to Lacoste. That's as much as I'm gonna
Think about that though. Think about what the
vacations. I spend a lot of money on vacations.
Think about what the number that we just said though.
What's that?
If you're making $400,000 to $500,000,
21 grand a month.
That's $400,000 to $500,000 a year. If you really fucking hustle and you pick a certain careers. Like I know people that make more than that amount of money. I know people that make more than that, and they're still stressed out about things.
How?
And they're still...
Why?
Because the more money you make, the more you spend. The reason that the people that you are dealing with or know people that are dealing with, in those situations is because, like, doesn't fuck them because it's more. Because once you get $500,000 a year, you're like, man, if I just had $1 million, I'd be able to go on one extra thing or do one extra, That's just how our country's set up. That's
how our society. If I was making $40,000 a month, dude, if I was making $40,000 a month, right, I would take one trip a month somewhere. Doesn't matter where. So that gives me a break, mental break from the job that's allowing me to obtain this type of income. Because I do think mental breaks are important. Sometimes you can't take breaks. Sometimes, listen, I haven't took a vacation since last year. I'm due. But I'm just saying realistically, if I have $40,000 a month, I should be able to to get away for a couple days, right? And then you get a car, $500-600 a month. Maybe you spend up a little bit. Maybe you lease a nice little fucking sports car, $1,200 a month. Okay, you got your nice place, $6 or $7 grand a month. Okay, boom. You're still not even at $15,000 a month. You get your food. You go out to dinner. If that's $5,000, so you still get a lot of $20,000. You got a $20,000 surplus here, right? So my question is, why do humans feel once they have something that's enough? What is it that makes us want more?
Well, people market everything to you. So because here's so whatever you just said, right? You just did what you just did. Okay, that was today.
And I want to let you know.
Now tomorrow,
I want to let you know I had the same type of issue at Cheetahs down in Providence, 2007.
What a name drop.
I said, why do I need more?
What a name drop. I'm trying to think of the one over in Stoughton that Mo Vaughn used to go to.
I don't know what you're talking about. Alex's.
Yeah. And then the hot dog place is attached, and all the receipts come back as the hot dog place.
Listen,
check out Alex's.
There was a time period where I was emotionally not available for anything. From 2004, 2005, I was at Alex's every day.
That's rough.
I was at Alex's every day. I was a strip club dude for 5 years. Every other day I was in strip clubs. I know about strip clubs. Alex's was a great place back in those times. Great place. A lot of Brazilians. Shout out to Obrigada Studios.
Wow. I don't even know what to say after that. I'm speechless.
I don't mean to cut you up. Proceed.
Well, I mean, we know whether you're going to be spending the rest of this money. Because you're going to go, man, what's going on at Alex's? Walk in there with $10,000 in cash. See, this is where it starts.
This is where it starts.
So you're just thinking of $40,000 a month. And then it starts getting to, okay, well, I got $20,000 left over. I do want to watch. I'm getting into watches because the guy that I went to lunch with had this watch, and so now I like this. So now I'm going to spend 10 grand on this watch. So now you got 10 left. And then you got to eat and do all this other shit. So now you're waiting for next month to come. And you're like, okay, I still got 2 weeks. I got to make $3 grand stretch for 2 weeks or whatever it is. And then you're like, what if how do I get to $1 million? Because if I get $1 million now, I'll get 80 grand a month. This is why these people are the way that they fucking are.
This is why I love Keanu Reeves. Because Keanu Reeves is the type of dude, he's a multimillionaire, but he's giving away way more money than people actually know. He dresses the fucking same every day. Right?
We can add Larry David onto this too.
Yeah. Yeah. These type of individuals, in a weird way, they have their own type of, I don't want to say weirdness, but a certain aura about them that seems quirkiness that people can't really understand. But for some reason, they have it figured out that less is more.
Yeah.
And if I would prefer to be quirky and weird, but be able to not go too crazy, like with the spending and shit. Like,
see, but I don't think for me, I'm going in the opposite direction. I'm looking at Larry David going, I need to do that. He's got enough money. He makes $90 million, $100 million a year on Seinfeld residuals.
Does he?
Yeah.
That much?
Larry David
Wow.
and Jerry Seinfeld, before they die, I think are going to be billionaires.
If they're not already.
If they're not already. Same clothes every day.
Yeah.
Drives a Prius.
Drives a Prius. Wow.
Just, and he's himself. Doesn't change for anyone.
No.
It's great. It's a beautiful thing.
I guess we could take from this podcast, as episodes, like, be yourself as much as you can. Be yourself, unapologetically, and don't let money change you. And if it does, just understand, how to come back from that. I don't know. And the things, money's very weird. I've never had a lot of money before, so maybe I'm just talking shit, but I've seen what having a lot of money has done to people by observing them. And I could tell you that it is definitely a route to all evil, but sometimes a route to some luxury.
I think it just makes you more of who you already are.
Makes you more of who you already are. Yeah. Exposes a lot of things. Right. On that note, guys, if you want to send us any donations to the podcast, my Venmo is at Coco-Caliente. That's COCO-CALIENTE at Coco-Caliente.
Such a hard one
to beat.
Chose literally the hardest one
to yeah.
send you money.
Yeah. I wanted people to, I want to earn it. I want to earn it. So Venmo at Coco-Caliente. And that would be great. You could also follow me at Chase Abel on Instagram, ChaseAbel. Also, I have a website, www.chaseabel.com. Nicky Neighborhoods, what you got?
That's it. Follow, subscribe. Go on the YouTubes. Go on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, wherever you get podcasts, and support.
Support, guys. We appreciate you. We love you. Have a great, great week. Get after it. And save your money, goddammit. Peace.